Welcome everyone to this IT news, long overdue, one of the busiest weeks here, and boy does this show in this collection of IT broken and insecurity news. It's hilarious and sad and whatnot, and also why I actually the last weeks, initially I did this IT news stuff once a week, but it became too long. Then I did this every 2 or 3 days, but that might also not have been the most successful format, as not the most people tune in. Maybe also because even when we do it every 2 or 3 days, it is too long. Maybe leave me in the comments below. I'm thinking maybe to change this to really like every day, like shortly, like 5 to 10 minutes max of just discussing the 1 or 2 major things that day. Leave me in the comments below what you think about this. And now let's try to go through this really many news this week relatively efficiently. And as usual, leave me in the comments below what you think. Starting with Linux 5.5 is out. This news just out right now, some minutes ago. And here on Phoronix, wild performance swings. I mostly include this here, not really new, but this is, in my opinion, what is even the original title is here, seeing some wild swings in performance improvements, but also regressions. My recurring theme here of ever-changing random stuff, not only breaking stuff, random reverting, like even in yesterday's live stream of even updating to this in T2, even hey wow, and T2 we are newer than this 5.4.1. But my general critique, and why I said this a couple of times, I'm getting a little bit frustrated with this ever-changing stuff, breaking APIs and performance, also security mitigations, you name it. In other news, or actually good news, the nearly only good news in this week, webOS Open Source Edition 2.0, yay everyone, what we have been waiting for. webOS, of course, actually I could have taken it out. I actually have one of the first webOS devices, the Palm Pre, the original Palm Pre, I actually have it there in a drawer. But theoretically somewhat cool, of course. Now a decade later it's like, whatever, we moved on, right, Android. But theoretically, so they still use it. It was sold Palm Pre to Hewlett-Packard, I guess, and then maybe to LG or whatever stops were in between. Correct me if I'm wrong, not going to fact check that. But actually reference hardware update Raspberry Pi 4, keeping up with latest open source, Qt5 Chromium 7.2. In general, of course, good news, the more the better, and some Android alternatives. So if you are looking into something like this, I think in the meantime they nearly only use it probably for smart TVs, which is somewhat a shame. Although I have to admit, even back in the day, a decade ago, on the Palm Pre it was super slow. Probably in part, I guess I heard they did not even use the hardware acceleration so much too. You have TI OMAP with this bloody Power VR that even they might not even had 3D drivers or something, or maybe they had drivers but didn't use it in the software stack. Maybe something to take a look another day. In similar, not amazing news, actually this, I was considering to make a dedicated live stream, and I've seen other people like Louis Rossmann actually. So maybe the next time, this is what I mean with this concept, maybe the next time with breaking news like this, I make a dedicated stream instantly. I had this on the list for 7 days or so, and in the meantime, not even Louis Rossmann, but also Lou from Unbox Therapy, probably, I think I saw this scrolling by somewhere, beat me to this. Relevant, of course, to us, the recurring theme of everything broken at Apple, and stuff so broken, they even pull their own customer reviews. I mean, think about this. 2019, so not only I'm not the only one criticizing Apple for everything broken, butterfly keyboard sold out on SSDs, display flex cables that break, and also software I posted on, if you follow me on Twitter, if that you could do if you want to read all my random garbage, then on Twitter plenty of hashtag peak bugs, disk utility, mouse cursor, I can't even, the list is so long, iMovie, Xcode, I mean everything broken. So this is their own app store, so this is not the app store, it's the Apple store, the hardware store. And previously they had all of the devices, and I know for a fact, so things not even, so this is here just on my stack, not this specifically, but just the regular, so even on adapters, you had their reviews, so not on this is a Thunderbolt 3. This is, by the way, fun fact, I said this in another video, this is actually Thunderbolt 3 to, so USB-C to mini display port, and this is bi-directional. Very few people knew this, so, but I had this in the Razer Core X video. So their own stuff, and so their own even adapters, right? So for example, Louis Rossmann called this out, I saw this a long time ago already, but other things, even MacBook, like plenty of 0 or 1-star reviews, like broken keyboard adapters, like USB-C adapter to multi-AV whatever, not working reliably, and so on and off, sometimes or not with 4K and not this and that. So the negatives, 2019, not only I here on this unsuccessful channel, but also others like Louis Rossmann and plenty of normal users, including my brother, my wife. My wife is now on a Samsung Galaxy Tab, although she still doesn't want to let loose of their iPhones because she doesn't want to look poor, not making this up. But even my brother not satisfied with MacBook, so normal users, my brother is not in IT, normal business folks and such, and normal people realize this stuff is not amazing anymore. And so negative that why have they pulled the reviews? Obviously too negative, 1-star, and comments in the audience, Navarro, censorship, big oof. It's not really like censorship, as I wouldn't call it censorship. It's just, in my opinion, I include this here as how broken is stuff at Apple. It is as broken that they cannot even post customer reviews because reviews become too negative. As previously seen, Louis Rossmann and others, this kind of dongles, 1-star dongles. So it's not really censorship, but just like admitting that their stuff is so not amazing that they can't even have reviews on their own app store. Speaking about stuff, broken stuff, I included here CUDA on NVIDIA release notes. Obviously not a huge fan here, but because binary only stuff and no open specification, we have even specification for rendition Verite from 2 decades ago, or 3DFX Voodoo, Intel, AMD, you name it. Don't buy into stuff where we don't have the specifications. Recurring, yeah, also P3, right? Recurring reminder here. And one big note that probably not many people got here is that NVIDIA will stop macOS support, right? So at least for CUDA or something. So they write here CUDA 10.2. You heard it here maybe first. CUDA 10.2 Toolkit and NVIDIA drivers. The last release to support macOS for developing and running CUDA application support for macOS will not be available starting with the next release of CUDA. Yay! I mean, personally, not much lost. But also Apple not sourcing NVIDIA hardware. I know a lot of Apple fanboys give Apple a hard time of not having NVIDIA. Actually, everything as crappy as it is at Apple, the only good thing is AMD graphics, because certainly we have at least open source drivers for that. So from my side, not really much lost, but yeah, if you're into NVIDIA and Mac, then maybe that is some not so good news. Also, recurring reminder, binary only drivers, right? Vendors take something away from you and you don't have it anymore, except running yesteryear's driver. No thanks. In really not amazing news and recurring shout out here that stuff from big vendors is often not amazing and often broken. Hewlett Packard Enterprise Support Center, Support Communications Bulletin. Hewlett Packard Enterprise SAS solid state drives, that is SCSI attached, serial attached SCSI. critical firmware update required, so act now before it is too late. So what is the issue? The issue is that Hewlett-Packard Enterprise drives, SAS drives, will stop working, like completely. And the reason is super simple, that it's some integer overflow, right? So 2019, the most expensive enterprise SAS drives, serial attached SCSI, stopped working after 32,768 hours, and of course signed in 16 overflow. Well done, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, amazing job, just the quality that I'm expecting from Hewlett-Packard. But also, yeah, 2019 we can't get the most basic stuff right, with I mean the whole IT landscape of all the companies and everything. And because you have most likely a whole storage array from purchased on the same date and running the same runtime hours, most likely a whole storage array there with potentially 10 if not hundreds of disks will probably go out the same runtime hour. Well done, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. I expected nothing less, but there we have it. In similar news, Chromium update from ARM, higher, faster and stronger. Actually, I mostly wanted to point this out. This is a funny demonstration, but I wanted this for you as an example to take company PR with some grain of salt, because they write here, yeah, everything amazing, faster, stronger, everything amazing. And then when you take a look here, as far as I saw, optimizing browser for ARM, settled 2 years ago. So we talk about the lowest hanging fruits, right? I'm only scrolled through this like news, like, and then I see like settled like 2017, the big companies talk about optimizing setlib, like, yeah, well done. Also, this is not, I checked this is not upstream yet, so Adler, the maintainer of setlib, did not even pull this in or something. So yeah, also still setlib, right? So libpng, of course, setlib also not only compressed data, like compressed streams in the browser, but also PNG, for example, and also ARM v8 instructions 10 or now even 20 times faster. But it's not only not upstream, it is also like optimizing Chromium, and it's like, yeah, it's setlib, like, okay, to be fair, well, it's some huge also, yeah, with platform specific optimizations you can get like assembly some optimizations, but yeah, so you see here 30%, and yeah, okay, libjpeg turbo, some other nice optimizations. However, this is not like I expected, like we make the browser amazing and then it's like setlib and libjpeg. It's like, yeah, okay, and that's not like really 99% of the browser use time, but whatever. Anyway, they also optimized here some other minor changes, half parts, GIF or GIF or whatever, and yeah, a little bit memory taking extensions, okay. But well, kudos to doing this. Every optimization is certainly amazing, but yeah, also stuff is not upstream. But also, speaking of upstream, my amazing work on keyboard stuff for OBS was merged upstream, so much to not contributing enough upstream. Glaucus asks also, yeah, how you're doing? I hope you're doing fine. A parallel version of setlib. I think there was some p-setlib or something, but of course the more single thread you can optimize, the better. But if they talk about amazing browser optimizations, I would expect a little bit more than just setlib and JPEG. To be honest, they have done a little bit more, but yeah, we are half through the presentation and setlib and JPEG. So yeah, memory tagging, but also you see, it's only half negative, the glass is still half full. They have done, it's of course amazing. Also, however, a recurring theme here of this channel, everything takes time, and even when we do small or big things, the little and big things, then certainly as documented here, everything takes like literally forever. Speaking about, Amazon Cloud Unit has designed a more powerful data center chip. So much to 2019, everyone and its friends and family creating their own data center. We have seen this in previous news, or actually on the other channel, some what was it, Nano, that was Avia, some Novia, so I think some new startup. But Amazon Cloud Computing, we've seen this in previous news, also Google, Amazon. I find this amazing, right? We had this just yesterday on the other channel. We can't even source, like you and we and everyone can't even source AMD Ryzen 3950X because no supply. TSMC left as the only one, or like nearly with Samsung, and then Global Foundries. And of course there are more foundries, but like Global Foundries and other, like even in Germany and stuff, they of course, like maybe Bosch or others, they of course do not have this latest and greatest process nodes. So Bosch might, for like anti-ABS braking system, they might, or like engine control stuff, they might manufacture something, but of course with like 100 nanometers instead of 7 or 28 or whatever. By the way, guesstimate. If you have concrete numbers, feel free to post them. So yeah, 2019, each and everyone needs to create their own processors, because it's a little bit hilarious in my opinion. There you see Amazon Web Services with all the money, in my opinion not the money best spent, because this very specific thing you need to remember that this certainly takes hundreds of millions, if not billions, certainly hundreds of millions at least, to tape out, to design and tape out and build your own systems. And whether this hundreds of millions, if not billions, are really best spent for this and not sourcing the latest and greatest AMD Zen, I have my doubts. But apparently, yeah, of course, also maybe Amazon in this day and age, maybe they should do RISC-V. Certainly they do RISC-V for something, but not really sure if they already spent the resources, maybe they should have gone RISC-V. But apparently 20% faster than Amazon's first ARM-based, so yeah, 20% faster than their first generation Graviton, which was released last year. Low cost option for either computing tasks, so yeah, whatever. Somehow I don't feel that it's the best money invested there, and probably they and everyone would probably benefit the most if there would be like not the competition with Zen 2 on Ryzen. Also, I don't think they as many resources as it take to get like AMD Zen and stuff out of developed and taped and tested and systems developed. I don't see any use case or any scenario how this could be in any way beneficial for Amazon. Navarro writes, everybody has their own custom silicon these days instead of writing good optimized software. Yeah, also, if they like work with, like even Microsoft working with, at least also I think they have, even Microsoft has their own, as per the previous live stream, their own version of, was it Snapdragon or something, for the Surface X. But even Microsoft at least has a custom AMD flavor for their laptops, which there you see probably makes much more sense in that use case than anyway. Speaking about RISC-V, they move here, German news, but don't worry, I translate anyway. RISC-V is moving their non-profit something to Switzerland due to US embargoes. There you see politics at work. Of course, they leave the sinking ship there, and because they fear they can't like license, you see, it's non-profit, it's for the greater good and open hardware, and then they even fear that they might not be able to license this open source something to China and stuff. And also, yeah, due to that, they move here apparently to Switzerland. RISC-V here, as reported on Reuters. And yada yada, this and this. Here's by the way Reuters, but sometimes US based. Here you have it in English. Moving to Switzerland over trade curb fears. US based foundation oversees promising semiconductor technology. Yeah, also, yeah, amazing sanctions at work. Certainly good for us in Europe. And anyway, we have seen this when stuff is sanctioned, like Intel and AMD and whatnot. China and similar countries, they just build their own silicon anyways. China has already the Longson MIPS 64 flavors there, and they license something from VR there, or even from AMD, but it makes no sense, right? It's at least good for Europe, so welcome here in Switzerland, next door here, next to Germany. Anyway, certainly amazing achievement on that, but yeah, sanctions at work and RISC-V moving. Speaking about China and Russia, Russia bans sale on gadgets without Russian-made software. Totally hilarious move, although similar to USA pressing through the 5G not from China or Huawei stuff, and certainly other countries copy this kind of ideas and mindset. So they passed a law banning sales of certain devices that are not pre-installed with Russian software, also certainly for the greater civilian state, and will come into force July 2020 and cover smartphones, computers and smart televisions. Proponents of the legislation say it's aimed to promoting Russia technology and making it easier for people in the country to use the gadgets. Also, yeah, if we all continue like this, USA with Make America Great Again, which certainly America was already great. So that is, of course, yeah, whatever, with some grain of salt, right? But China making China great again, Russia making Russia great again, Europe making Europe great again, or God forbid, Germany making Germany great again. And where should this lead? Certainly we see, even with RISC-V and ARM, as we just said, I think we all in the United States, Europe, China, Russia, certainly the greatest achievements working together and not creating this isolated only Russian software nonsense. But we will see how this is going. Also, Russian-made software, certainly they just take Android and stick a Russian flag onto this and call it made in Russia, I guess. But yeah, but followed here at previous IT news, Russia tightens control over national internet and unplugging from the internet. And similar news, I don't expect much from this because they don't write a whole operating system from scratch. They just slap Linux onto this, so probably just some Russian flavor of Android anyway. Hardware is cheap isn't the excuse for bad software. In similar news, kernel, what was that? Ah, right, this was more Intel bugs. Did I call this, or probably not? Ah, right, I think we called this out in previous IT news that the HPET, the high precision interval timer, is broken. So not only jump instruction and other spectrum meltdown. Previous IT news, the high precision event timer also broken, at least after suspend resume on some platforms. But now, hot this week, disabled on more after CFL Coffee Lake and Coffee Lake H. Now also on Ice Lake platforms, skewed high precision event timer hits PC10. So let's disable it because, yeah, lol, YOLO, I don't need a high precision interval timer anyway. Just when you were thinking, if there's something left in any Intel silicon that's not broken, then yeah. In previous news, we covered already quite some times right to repair. Huge fans here. Huge fans not only of Louis Rossmann, but in general repairing all kinds of stuff here, including not making this up LED light bulbs, but yeah, any other stuff, including MacBooks and so on. So and calling out here soldered SSDs and other stuff. So including Octane and everything basically here, right? And so what is new? And calling out here also soldered SSD and memory RAM on Macs, certainly not buying this. And new and hot, US military can't fix their own equipment. No shit, Sherlock. Here reported on the New York Times. So some more movement there into the right direction. And there you see first all the lobbyists. Yeah, you can't even, in the United States, it's even so crazy that you can't even service your own truck there on your farm. This whatever trucks this were, forgot this name. Anyway, modern high-tech on the farm, you can't even service it yourself. And now military manufacturers can prevent the Department of Defense from repairs of certain equipment, which puts members of military at risks. And for us, it's certainly some good thing that there are some more voices, not only repair people in their unsuccessful one-man basement like Louis Roseman and us, but now it's a military, so some thumbs up for that. A few years ago, standing in South Korea field, knee-deep in mud and asking for the maintenance, Marines to tell them why they can't fix a broken generator, needed the generator to supply training with the US State Army, and South Korean military was generally unaccustomed to hearing anyone in the Marine to give excuses for not effectively getting the job done, but was stunned when the frustrated reply was because of warranty. So yeah, also some drop frames now. Anyway, also I think we should probably be not too many drop frames anymore. Comments in the audience Navarro, HPET is hilarious on the same level of Apple. Oops, our NVMe SSD doesn't follow MEME like Q-length stuff. Yeah, this and why I choose here my channel to bring this to a reoccurring attention. 12 or something. In similar news, OnePlus notifies customers, recurring security issues here, security flaw in its online store again, so recurring issue. Maker of smartphones, security is often questionable. Last year the company found a served security issue that exposed credit card information, and now another security issue. A recurring reminder that we just can't get security right and why we probably should do software totally different. Our state of software is not amazing, and if we want to network and interconnect everything, we for sure need to work on optimizing this, because this state of insecurity is hilarious. And in similar news, Mixcloud data out, I think just yesterday. Data breach exposes over 20 million user records. Data breach at Mixcloud, by the way, fun fact, I didn't even know, I knew about SoundCloud, but Mixcloud, whatever. A UK-based audio streaming platform has left more than 20 million user accounts exposed after the data was put on sale in the darknet. The data breach happened early in November, according to the dark web seller who supplied a portion of the data to TechCrunch, allowed us to examine, and so on. Passwords appear to be scrambled with SHA-1, making the passwords impossible to unscramble, and so on, and so on. Speaking about 1.2 billion records found exposed online on a single server, there's the next jumbo data leak, complete with Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn profiles. For well over a decade, identity thieves, phishers and other online scammers have created a black market for stolen aggregated customer data. They used to break into people's accounts, steal their money, impersonate them. In October, a dark web researcher found one such trove sitting exposed and easily accessible on an unsecured tier. So yeah, the data thieves have their servers unsecured. Welcome in 2019, comprising 4 terabyte of personal information, about 1.2 billion records in all. So huge portion of the world population. You name it. And if you were wondering if my recurring weekly insecurity news is segregating, then no, unfortunately, I am not. Speaking about a complete, well, this is of course one private practice in Germany exposed on the internet, nothing compared to 1.2 billion. However, I've chosen to include this here. Germany, this is the original reporting. So this is one doctor that was leaving their internal network to the network, and they contacted them. They closed this there in the firewall, and then after like a week or two they were exposed again. Totally hilarious. And it turns out, so this is also a bug. This is why I include this. So this is a bug or a feature, but more like a bug. So what happened in this configuration of a major ISP, the German Telekom here, this is a configuration of the router there of your Wi-Fi access point. And so when you selected HTTPS to forward HTTPS here to some destination, HTTPS forwarded not one port, but it forwarded it. So this would be 443 for you playing along at home. standard port for HTTPS. However, this forwarded not one port, like it forwarded whole blocks. So this forwarded 440 to 449. Like seriously, what's a freaking heck? In my opinion, providers like major companies like the German Telekom should majorly be sued for this kind of bugs. There is no excuse for this. And the reason that most likely so they closed this and then this bug reappeared after a week or two. So either this was like restarting it, but maybe they have not saved it in this web configuration, or they have applied a firmware update and the firmware update did it again or something of that sort. But yeah, not only leaking personal medical data once but twice, and even mostly in most part due to the largest previously state-owned German telecom provider, German Telekom. Yeah, amazing web interfaces, money can't buy, priceless, and why IT sucks majorly in 2019. Speaking about sucking in 2019, are you using FortiGuard? Because their amazing security is XOR encrypting data of multiple Fortinet products. Some security bullshit. So yeah, some of the stuff forwarding UDP port 53, so including FortiGate and FortiClient regularly send information to Fortinet servers on UDP port 53 and 80. Cloud communication is used for the web filtering. So yeah, web filtering with static XOR password. In 2019, speaking about security, the major security service provider Prosegur has ransomware. So yeah, security provider for like the usual stuff of money delivery and other stuff. Ryuk infection. So yeah, can we do security? Madrid based security provider Prosegur. So yeah, 25 operating 25 countries, 5 continents, money transport, other stuff, security logistics. So yeah, there you have it. Ransomware, also recurring stuff of running security like that, running Windows everywhere, you name it. In similar news, Hackers Paradise Louisiana's ransomware disaster is far from over. Lost files and issues with backup management kept affecting Medicaid and other services. Louisiana has brought some of its services back as it recovers from targeted ransomware attack using the Ryuk malware. November 18, the State Office of Motor Vehicles reopened in a limited fashion, probably fax messages, and I don't know. But other agencies still affected, including the State Department of Health and Department of Public Safety. Also, yeah, public safety not safe from ransomware. According to people familiar in Louisiana's IT department, so yeah, ransomware payload. Also, yeah, 2019. This is why we don't want to write software like we write software. Why you don't want to run a monoculture of Windows and macOS, and probably not even a monolithic Linux kernel. Speaking about California, DMV is making 50 million a year by selling your driver's personal information. Document obtained by motherboard shows how DMVs sell personal names, addresses. Also, yeah, 2019, your local government, government wants data protection and whatnot, and everything is potentially causing cancer there in California. But then California DMV is selling personal information for 50 million. Also, yeah, for 50 million, like seriously, what the heck? Maybe just rake in some more taxes of the riches there. Department of Motor Vehicles is generating a revenue of 50 million a year through selling drivers' personal information. It's hilarious. It's such a scandal. You can't make this up. But leave me in the comments what you think. Should the government sell this information like this? I certainly, in my opinion, not. But leave me in the comments what you think. Information includes names, physical addresses, car registration. I mean, exactly what you want your government to sell, right? I mean, it's seriously just increase the tax. I mean, 50 million, what is it? Just like 1 millionaire, like what 1 millionaire did not pay there or something. It's hilarious. For this little money, I mean, even if they would rake in 500 millions, I would still say this should be forbidden. Like, well, it is forbidden in many countries with data regulation, privacy law stuff. But yeah, in similar news, privacy, Mozilla privacy not included. They have here a site that I didn't even know. Apparently that is a thing. Navarro comments, Nazis rolling out of their graves, asking themselves why they didn't have such an absolutely owning people. Yeah, also in not only Nazis, but even in East Germany, the Stasi, the state security, spying on everyone of the citizens about everything. Mozilla apparently had a site last year, and they, I didn't even know that is a thing, so they have a rating here of privacy. How creepy is your smart speaker, fitness tracker and other wireless headphone stuff? So not creepy. Apparently Nintendo Switch, their rates is apparently by end user license agreement, data transmitted and similar fun stuff. So apparently they think some stuff here is not creepy here. Apparently PS3 and PS3, PS4, where are we even PS4, where are we here? Not creepy. This is a little bit strange side, right? I only wanted to point this out. I mean, I can't believe that some of the stuff is not so creepy. They even have Amazon Kindle here. Not really sure how they rate this actually. So this is now here starts, you see a little creepy territory. Do I even have this here full on? Yeah, I have this covered. And not really sure, in my opinion, Mozilla started their own creepy stuff like Mozilla Sync and Pocket and stuff that nobody asked for. So in my opinion, Mozilla themselves getting a little, instead, I said this before, instead of making a most amazing browser with hardware isolated video playback on video on Linux, they make Sync and Pocket and whatnot. And so in my opinion, Mozilla a little creepy. I also wonder if do you get here more information? Not really sure. Minimum security standards, yes, strong password. Not really sure how they rate this. But if you want to take a quick look, or actually Apple, why is this a little creepy? They have here, I don't know, it's kind of, okay, it can snoop on you with a microphone and tracks location. There you have it. If you want to have some overview, here you have it. Some stuff is somewhat creepy, and then very creepy here, Huawei and other stuff here of Ring, video doorbell, obviously, and other fun stuff. And yeah, PayPal to acquire shopping and reward platform Honey. I include this here because I've seen, so personally, and I have not used Honey. I wouldn't not even know about Honey if it would not be for other YouTubers. So when I sometimes watch something, then I got here a Honey advertisement and on other YouTubers, and I always found this a little bit of a sellout because I don't quite understand how other people can, with their consciousness, promote stuff like this that is obviously collecting user data. What this Honey is, it's like getting rewards and coupons or something, like getting some discount, but it is clear to me that it must be some massive data collection stuff. And so totally not a fan of this, can't recommend. I would never recommend any of this automatically price matching coupon stuff that can only be massive data collection stuff and selling it for 50 millions. But PayPal acquired this now here for 4 billion. There you see how do they make money, certainly with that means. And so yeah, I don't have really much more to say to this, except of course PayPal looking for a new business. Of course PayPal makes 4 billion a year. from their core business, and this of course might go away. That 1 second. This might go away with eBay now switching to some other provider, whatever that was, and that might certainly cut into the future profit of PayPal, so they most likely secure some future business. But in my opinion, totally shady business, and PayPal became a little bit shady with this previously trying to, I'm actually not sure what the story is, like trying to not allow getting the refund back of chargebacks there. Lewis Rossman, others, I called this out here. Although right now I have to say, for us in Germany, it's not yet like this. When we refund something, we get the full amount back at PayPal, but this is also totally shady behavior of PayPal trying to press that through. At least maybe it is an effect now in USA, I have no idea. It's not in effect for us. However, we prepared if PayPal ever go through with it, not allowing us to refund the money of customers who changed their mind, then, and we would have to eat the €5 or something transaction fee of $99.99 for Exact Scan. Don't delay, try Exact Scan, paperless office stuff today. Then we will immediately switch away from PayPal, because we certainly don't want to make a loss on people who want their money back. Totally stupid business model stuff. In others, here was some EFF stuff of Commonwealth versus something that was, what was it even? That was some decision. That was actually, I think, some, what even was this? This was something usable that I now forgot what it was. So much to having that. Probably should have. This was something of. Yeah, right. So this was probably Pennsylvania Supreme Court rules police can't force you to tell them your password there somewhere. This is why, of course, I don't recognize it immediately from Commonwealth versus Davis. And yeah, so apparently at least some good rulings in the United States if you ever are in a situation where the police wants a password from you. In last but not least, questionable or Friday for future news, Finland has an app that's showing you your shopping's true carbon footprint. One of the maybe more useful apps, although maybe data collection, your fine print might apply. Shoppers will soon be able to work out the true carbon footprint of their purchases thanks to an app from one of the most digitally savvy nations in the world, also here. So there you have it. According to Bloomberg, Finland, the most digitally savvy nation in this world. So there you have it. USA, some way to go. Unlike other carbon footprint calculators already on the market, the application developed by Enfuse Financial Services, a Finnish payment service provider, does not rely on users inputting the data manually. Instead, it's combining data from credit card and banks with purchase data from retailers to provide real-time calculations how a given product affects the climate, with an estimate of 70% carbon emissions globally attributed to end users. Enfuse chairman and co-founder Monica Lee Marker says the app will help people adapt their lifestyle and make them compatible with the goal of keeping global warming within the 1.5 degree Celsius range, which I think we already passed. This ship already sailed, unfortunately. Also, of course, the idea a good thing, of course not a good thing to combine your shopping data and credit card data. My own bank actually also showed me there's some banner, hey, do you want for free some analyzation, some of your data stuff? And it's like, no, of course not, thank you very much. And then of course fine print data shared with whatever provider. So yeah, why I can only recommend to you to keep your financial data in your own mind and stuff. Don't share stuff unnecessary. if may just keep a list or open office spreadsheet or text file of your shopping, or just think it through if you really need something or not, and don't use this free. Why are the services free? Because they certainly want to sell your data for 50 million like the California DMV. That's it for today. I hope you learned something. I hope we rushed here mostly usefully through this news. Not really sure because I restarted OBS. I hope you learned something and found this service useful. I have to rethink because of all those videos of ours. These are the less successful videos, so I'm not really sure how I will continue this. If you have any comments to this, I always ask for comments. Some people said it's too long, some people said it's useful. Of course, from the views I see, it's not the most liked and most viewed news. And I personally agree that if I would want to watch this from other people, then I would probably maybe either listen to this as a podcast to commuting to work, or it would be too long. So from this, maybe, as I said in the beginning of this live stream, it is the best idea to actually do this more regularly, like daily. I'm not really, so I will, one thing is for sure, with my busy life this week, one of the most busiest week in nearly sort of maybe my life. This is also why I couldn't do so many videos. I have actually some stuff of AAA content to do. I just have like literally no time. You see, I was in the office not only supporting customers on Sunday, but even filing tax papers, because that's what managing directors do on the weekend. And this is also why this week was a little bit of, a little bit live streaming stuff here and there, some low-hanging fruits, because -E, capital E, too busy. For the future of this kind of content, I have the feeling it might be more useful for more people if we do it daily, like if I have time when I'm traveling, when I'm with friends and family, maybe not, but maybe at the end of the office day at 19, 20, 100 European time, like some short 10 minutes of worst security nightmare of the day or something, might be more useful for more people to discuss one major topic shortly, like on average 7 major topics a week or something of that, as I said, daily. Leave in the comments below what you think about this. I hope this potentially maybe last super long episode was useful for some of you and you learned something, certainly where is this news, how not to do Wi-Fi firmware. And I hope people here in the audience, probably students or already working in this field, I guess, if you do this stuff, think this through. Do not pass here secure shell HTTPS on a port range of 10 ports, like seriously, no. And all the other insecurity news here of previous somewhere here. I hope you learned something. Also here, use stuff selling this RISC-V moving, also here like this, and other like this. Hope to see you soon for the next videos to come, and don't forget to share, like and subscribe, and leave me comments below what you think about this format and how to improve it to make it better and more attractive for more people to tune in.